What do you mean when you say cultural revolution? I think that like the liberal dream of the free marketplace of ideas has turned out to be a ludicrous farce, and it's obvious if you look at it for even 10 seconds. All discourse is controlled by corporate media and by corporate masters, you know, oligarchs. Whether it be the news that's disseminated from the top down, the extent to which news organizations are able to extract information from the administration, the fact that basically every local news company is owned by the same like single company. The idea that we're getting our information in a free and neutral environment is obviously false. It's also pathetically easy to shift priorities to boost algorithms on social media. You have any idea how many neo-Nazi accounts on Twitter are run by Indians because the blue check pay mark that you get for engagement, or the blue check paychecks that you get for engagement are a lot of money in India? Do you have any idea how much of it is like grifters who are just making like $18 a day? But for them, that's huge. So they'll just like Nazi post nonstop. It doesn't matter whether or not they believe it. There's also like 1.4 billion Indians, so it doesn't, like, it can be a tiny percentage of their population. Yeah, it's the modern day equivalent of Brazilians making their money by farming gold on RuneScape or buying WoW tokens or whatever, and then selling them to the, you know, to the highest bidder, except this has political consequences. The idea of like, well, we can just let the best ideas reside, like the best ideas will float to the top, just not true. It's factually false. You're an idiot if you believe it. Like you have the mind of a child if you believe that. We need to acknowledge that some ideas are good and some ideas are bad. And that belief needs to be upheld with authority. The whole reason we're in this mess right now is because Democrats shrugged and assumed like, hey, you know, in spite of the monstrous amount of corporate propaganda, money in politics, the fact that social media companies are literally like directly owned by a small group of people, I'm sure that people will like reject Trump's idiotic ideas and settle with, you know, a boring, banal, neoliberal, do-nothing candidate like Hillary Clinton, because that's the sensible choice. And between Trump and Hillary Clinton, yeah, Hillary Clinton was the sensible choice. Not exactly the best of two, you know, not the best choice overall, of course, but of the two choices, sure. But it didn't matter, obviously. Good ideas need to be upheld with authority. And that's not anti-democracy, that's pro-democracy. What kind of democracy do you have if you allow anti-democratic ideas to be spread by foreign agents, people who are just looking to make a buck but have no interest in the politics themselves, and by oligarchs who would benefit from an authoritarian government because they'd be able to directly collaborate and collude with the government, which is exactly what's happening now. Ridiculous. A cultural revolution needs to be a top-down purge from government of these ideals. We're talking about civilizationally destructive things here. As far as I'm concerned, there are some things that should just prevent you from being able to hold power, maybe even own businesses. You're anti-climate change? You don't think climate change is real? Sorry, I value the continued existence of the human species above your ability to be wrong. In all likelihood, not even you being wrong, but you making more money by convincing other people of a position you know is wrong, which is what the oil companies were doing for decades. They all knew they were lying. It's not like it was a sincerely held belief. Like we are literally talking about preserving the species here. Not just the country, but even if it was just the country. None of these beliefs are held sincerely. Go to social media right now, find a lefty poster, anyone. Who are you going to find? Probably some college student, you know, or just someone who believes in lefty ideas. Now find a righty poster. Who are they? They are, without exception, or very few exceptions, a schizophrenic, a foreigner making money off of the USD Twitter blue check payouts, a shameless grifter who has posted for years now and has promoted contradictory ideas. They don't believe in anything, or a pedophile advocate, not just a pedophile, but an advocate for pedophilia, somebody who makes arguments in favor of them. Like, what are you supposed to make of this? I refuse to believe, like, oh, you know, well, it's dangerous to suggest that, like, authority should be, you know, like, the power of the state should be used to reaffirm the validity of some ideas over others. It's dangerous not to, motherfucker. And by the way, the bad guys won. You got exactly what you wished for. Your dickless, what if the best way of solving society is to do nothing bullshit led to the bad guys winning. It needs to be socially intolerable. I'm just talking at like levels of government, by the way, because I don't think you should be able to you shouldn't be able to be in office if you use your office for graft and corruption and vice. You take bribes, right? Most people agree on this, even though we're not exercising that legal distinction right now. Most people would agree If you're in office and you're taking bribes, that should be something that removes you from office. Why can you be in office and kill thousands of people by revoking, by cutting Medicaid so that you can save marginal amounts of money for the insurance companies that are forced to, or the healthcare companies that are forced to pay out? We have to be a little bit more sensible than this. And it needs to be socially intolerable to agree with these people, okay? I think we're doing better about that right now because as far as I can tell, most liberals find most Trump supporters completely, like, socially intolerable, which is true because they are, you know. But it needs to go further than that. Like, being an open neo-Nazi has earned you a lot of public condemnation for a long time. Why the fuck did that stop? Like, oh, sure, if you're a skinhead and you have a swastika on your forehead, maybe that gets you the broad condemnation. Maybe that gets you, like, the widespread denunciation. But, like, what about, you know, any of the other shit? Like, the fact that, like, 40% of the country thinks that it's okay to deport anyone without due process. I don't know. We need to gatekeep, gaslight, and girl boss a lot harder. You understand? Yes, sir. Don't be an individualist. You can be an individualist if you want, but understand that right now your individual rights and your individual quality of life are being destroyed by people who use the guise of individualism as a way of handing all the power in the world to 5 of the wealthiest men on the planet. It was always free speech this and free marketplace of ideas that. Now all the people who were pro-free marketplace of ideas back in 2017 today are arguing for the no trials deportations for American citizens to a foreign country's concentration camp. They think it's based and they think you're triggered and owned for disagreeing with it. They don't believe in anything. All right.